Hello and welcome. I am Baylock from the Bethesda official forums, and another user there had asked for a tutorial on how to create custom artwork for Skyrim. Hopefully when we're done with this, that's just what we'll be able to do. For this tutorial, you'll need to know the basics of working in the creation kit and a bit of beginner level knowledge of working within layers in GIMP, cropping, scaling images, applying filters, and so forth. Everything we're going to be doing is pretty much on a beginner level, or otherwise I probably wouldn't be able to do it. If you're totally new to the construction kit, I really suggest that you do the official tutorials at the wiki just to familiarize yourself enough to be able to follow along with what we're going to be doing in the construction kit. So let's get started. If you don't already have GIMP installed, you'll need to go to gimp.org, download and install. The newest version is 2.8. If you have an older version of GIMP already installed, it should work just fine. All of the techniques we're going to be using are still pretty much the same, but you might want to consider downloading this new version. It's got a lot of really neat features, like working in single window mode, lots of new brushes, and just really a lot of neat stuff in the new version. I like it a lot. We will also need a plugin. It's called a DDS plugin. DDS files, images, are the textures that Skyrim uses. So we will need to go to the plugin registry from gimp.org. And if you just put in DDS, it should be the first one that usually comes up for me. So click on that, and I just downloaded and installed the zip file. Just download it, extract it. It's a exe. It just goes in your plugin directory for GIMP. There is a README file that tells you the directory path where it needs to go. So the installation of that is pretty straightforward and simple. So go ahead and grab all of those if you don't have those, and come back and join me. So the last thing we're going to need is the Paintings and Frames modders resource from the Skyrim Nexus. It is mod number 17423. You could just go and put that number directly in if you want to, or just go and search in the search box. And this is a really nice modders resource by a modder by the name of Artisanix. It is really well done. If you take a look at the screenshots, you'll see there's a lot of nice different frames, a lot of different sizes, and just different looks for the frames. They're really well done. My hat's off to Artisanix for putting the work in and doing this mod and making it available for the public to use. If you use these assets in your mod, which I'm assuming you will be, but that's the whole point of this, is be sure and give Artisanix credit. That's part of just common courtesy in the community. If you use someone else's resources, give proper credit where credit is due. It's just the right thing to do. So go ahead and download and install this modder's resource. You can use the mod manager to install it, or you can also just download the manual file and install that manually. Get that done, and I'll meet you back and we'll take a look at the directory structure. Okay, so now you should have GIMP installed. You should have the DDS plugin for GIMP installed, and also the Paintings and Frames modders resource here at the Skyrim Nexus. And let's take a look at the directory structure. Go to your data folder for Skyrim. Should just be your Steam Apps, Common, Skyrim, and data folder. If you don't know where that's at, you probably want to brush up on how Skyrim is put together. Use the tutorials there at the wiki just to get yourself up to speed on how the assets are managed. And if we look, you'll see that there is a paintings test.esp. And if we look in the textures directory, there will be an axe folder, then a paintings folder, and then within the paintings folder are all of the paintings that make up all of the frames that we will be seeing in the game. Artesanix did a really awesome job with naming everything in a very logical manner. It's very easy to follow. You have Canvas LC0101.dds. Then you'll also have a Canvas LC0101_n.dds. Now, what that n file is, _n, that is what is known as a normal file that the game uses to just give a little bit of depth and texture to what would otherwise be a flat-looking image. We're going to get into that as we start working within GIMP, and we'll show you how to make a normal file for your custom artwork as well if you need to. And if you look down, once you get below all the canvases, you'll see all the frames, and each of the frames have a normal file as well. So everything has normals. The really neat thing about this is the way this is set up is that you have a separate texture for each of the pieces of artwork. Back in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and I believe pretty much in Oblivion, all of the artwork that were in those games, the texture file for the frame and the piece of art was combined. Wasn't that difficult, but you just had to be careful if you were editing the artwork, just to be sure that your new painting didn't bleed over onto the frame. Otherwise, it would look a little wonky in the game. So this eliminates that. It really gives us a lot of freedom and a lot of basically easier to work within the assets here. So from there, if we want to take a look at where the meshes are, just go back to your data folder, go to meshes, axe, it's all the same way, and then paintings, and then these are all of your meshes that go in the game. That's the wireframe models basically that the textures are applied to, that gives us the look of the artwork in the frames within the game.